judge and members of the jury. We are here today to persuade you on the decision of what happens to Miss Michaela Lee. Whatever your decision today, it won't only affect the defendant's life, it will affect the greater community. Your decision will decide whether we allow these drugs to reach your community, your family members, and your kids. In 2017 alone, there were 20 deaths directly attributed to cocaine use in this country. And serial killers. So why would we let the suppliers of these illicit murder weapons out free? Today you need to show that you don't stand with these illegal activities that infect our communities and ruin our families. The role of me today, the prosecution, is to prove that Miss Lee is guilty on all charges. The possession of illicit drugs, cocaine. The possession of an illicit drug on the purpose of sale or supply. And the trafficking of an illicit drug, cocaine. Beyond a reasonable doubt. So no, reasonable doubt is not a shapeshifter framed Miss Lee. Prosecution, along with the defence, have agreed on some common ground. That is, the substance found in the locker was cocaine, which is known through forensic evidence and investigation, and that the substance in question was intended for Pedro Johnson to presumably spread and sell across the country. What we disagree on is the person committing these crimes of selling and supplying and trafficking. We believe that these crimes were committed by the defendant, and we have evidence to prove it. However, the opposition has a flimsy story of a chance doppelganger who appeared near the crime at the time. Told by the only person who has a need or a want to lie about this case. The day before the crime, the police constable Miss Darley got a tip of a possible drug drop on Narrabundah Drive. The constable went to the drop to investigate and to lay low. The constable sat across the drop zone, where there was minimal traffic from pedestrians and drivers. She noticed someone go into the booth and drop a silver box. She knows this person to be Michaela Lee. She had a clear view of the incident. She then waited after Miss Lee left and saw a Tesla car drive up with Mr. Pedro Johnson in it up to the phone box and collect the silver box from its hidden compartment. He was swiftly arrested and proceeded to say to the constable, quote, presumed name for the defendant, Michaela. The constable went to Michaela's place of work the next day, who had recently changed her hair from the day before, and overheard a conversation where Mickey was talking about the arrest of Pedro Johnson. Miss Lee was brought into questioning, where she confessed that she was at the scene of the crime and at the time the crime was committed. Knowing that she knew Pedro Johnson, but did not know him on a personal level, which is in dispute with what we know in the future. At a point in time, she had the same haircut as the suspect did. As the constable described. However, she argues that she did not commit the crime, but it was someone else who looked like her and had the same exact coat on her, which was previously believed to be a one of a kind by her. They asked more questions about Pedro Johnson. She became very defensive and cautious and abruptly ended the questioning. We had a talk with the manager of the lockers. She described a person matching the description of the defendant, Michaela Lee. Identified her from a photo. She was quoted saying, "I have a very clear memory due to the unusual large earrings which the suspect had on, which leaves quite a memory in her eye." Of the community, who was at the bus stop near the phone box at the time of the crime, identified Miss Michaela Lee as the one who entered the phone box and dropped the key box. A statement by Lynn Ambrosius, who is the defendant Michaela Lee's longtime friend and employer, the only person who would have a want to lie / bend the truth for the defendant. She did not have the haircut in question at the time of the crime, but she had had it previously. She distanced herself from Pedro by making racist remarks, including, "He's Mexican. He's obviously a bit dodgy." Crimes easily qualify. The person who has committed these crimes would easily qualify for all the charges. 1. Possession. Had the packages of cocaine in their bag. 1. Possession. They had the package of cocaine in their bag and moved it into the locker of their ownership. The substance was intended for Pedro Johnson. The substance 2. Supply and selling of it. The substance was intended for Pedro Johnson from the suspect. 3. Trafficking. Even though there is no proof of sale or trade, trafficking can be proven by preparation or a concealment of the substance. For example, maybe placing cocaine in a locker for collection and placing the key in a hidden spot. The defense may argue that Miss Michaela Lee was under duress, also known as Michaela Lee was forced to do these crimes by Pedro Johnson, but these claims are unbelievable and unreliable due to now that Pedro Johnson has fled the country and presumably gone to Central America. So Miss Michaela Lee would be under full protection and would be completely safe from Pedro Johnson if she was forced to and confessed by the Australian police. Our multiple sources who have no need or want of pinning these crimes on a previously non-offender must prove that beyond reasonable doubt that Michaela Lee was the one who brought and placed these drugs in the locker and was seen by Constable Darley to place the key box in clear detail and was an affiliate of Pedro Johnson, as known when the police went through his device and saw that Michaela Lee was a known affiliate, and when he talked about her, nicknaming her Mickey. You must show that you don't support the use and selling of these drugs and convict her on all charges. I rest my case, Your Honour.